my darlings, I'm Sophie Darling and welcome back to the channel. Today we're reacting to episode 4 of series 2 of Vinland Saga. Last episode we really got the bigger picture as to how dejected Thorfinn actually is and how lost and lonely he is. He's just completely given up on life. He's traumatized, he's suffering from these nightmares from his past. He's completely forgotten just how beautiful life can be because he's never experienced it because he was 6 when he left home. He doesn't remember those interactions with his sister, his mom. He likely doesn't remember his interactions with his father beyond brief glimpses, but even then that's likely dominated by the trauma of losing his father and seeing his father die. So even those good memories are likely tainted. We've seen that in series 1 where like he'll be having these dreams of his father and like memories of him and their interactions together, and it instantly switches to Thor's being covered in the arrows embedded in him and Thorfinn like clinging onto his legs. So it's very evident that even the good memories are tainted by the trauma, and then every other memory he's had since he left home has been one of violence, bloodshed, war, conflict. How could he not be traumatized? How could he not believe that life has nothing good to offer? But I think what we're going to see now is because we had the introduction of this character. We don't know his name because I don't think his name was mentioned in episode 3. I might be mistaken, but I don't think I saw his name mentioned. He just showed up and admired Thorfinn's strength to withstand those cuts without crying out. But I think he may take Thorfinn under his wing, that he might be good for Thorfinn in becoming another father type figure that shows him that there's more to life than what he gives it credit for, that life is worth fighting for, and that if you just give up, you'll never understand or appreciate the beauty that life has to offer, that you have to keep pushing forward, that you have to motivate yourself, that you have to keep trying to find a reason to live. And he doesn't quite have a reason to live for yet, but he might be given one. And Einar still hasn't told him about Leif, and I feel like once he knows that Leif is still looking for him, it will remind him back to his conversation with Leif in series 1, where Leif was really driving home the point that the seas may be rough and they may be turbulent, but we have to keep pushing forward because life is difficult, but it is worth traversing, that we can't really appreciate the goodness in people and the goodness in life itself without weathering the storm. Thorfinn needs to weather this storm in order to find the beauty of the world around him, in order to find a greater sense of purpose. So I think maybe knowing that Leif is looking for him may sort of reassert that message to him that he has to traverse the rough seas in order to find what he's looking for, what he's searching for. And Vinland is part of that, but I think Vinland could also be sort of this allegory for purpose, for finding the beauty in life, for finding a reason to continue to live for. You know, he may end up going to Vinland at some point, but I think at this point it's sort of this dream aspiration, it's purpose, it's drive, it's motivation, and Thorfinn's lost that, but it could be regained through his interaction with this new figure, and also maybe Einar telling him about Leif, because this new figure is also very militaristic, so he can probably relate to Thorfinn in a way that others can't. He's from a military background, he trains. Thorfinn can also relate to him, and they can share their similarities with one another in a way that Einar can't really share with him. Einar can share with him the trauma that they both have experienced because of war and conflict and invasion. But I think this new character is able to understand Thorfinn in a way that Einar can't, in that they both likely have fought in battles, have shed blood, have taken lives, and is maybe able to set Thorfinn back onto the right path to make him realize that life is worth fighting for. But without further ado, we're going to get into this episode and I get to see more of my boy. I just really want Thorfinn to be happy. That's my main ambition for this series, is Thorfinn to be happy. Snake. Oh wait, maybe we did learn his name and I just completely ignored it. I just completely missed that his name is Snake. Well, I imagine it's not his real name because they all have animal nicknames. He's Fox, there's Badger, he's Snake.
お前らバカ。お前らが奴隷をいじめてどうすんだ。若様がやんなきゃだろ。でも、そいつが。
Wait, why are you blaming Thorfinn? He didn't. Stop making excuses. He didn't get cheeky with you. I think Snake knows that as well.
悪かったな。こいつらバカなんだよ。
He definitely has admiration for Thorfinn.
俺はヘビだ。
トルフィンです。
It's instinctive, that desire to protect himself. He saw Askeladd, another father figure. We're getting our third daddy. He did this because he recognizes that Thorfinn is more than he lets on. That he's a warrior like him, a fighter.
ほれ見ろトルフィン。
Exactly. I said this last episode that his body might instinctively react. He says he wants to die, but he doesn't. This is his awakening moment, that as much as he says it, it's not the truth.
この件でこれ以上面倒を起こした日には、お前らこの先、顎で飯が食えると
I
思
love
うなよ。
him. Please don't turn out to be an asshole, because I actually really like him already. Not just because he's hot, but...
トルフィン、お前。
Aina saw a side of him that he didn't realize existed.
生きたいのか?
Yes, you do. Is Aina going to finally learn more about his background?
生きてどうするんだ?
Oh, we're finally going to see him start to like realize he needs to gain a bigger purpose. That he needs to move forward and find a way to live in this world, to live with the trauma and everything he's seen. I love that Snake has like driven that home to him through his body's instinctive reaction to protect himself from dying. If he truly wanted to die, he wouldn't have reacted, but his body wanted him to live. Meaning, internally, he also wants to live. Aina's gonna have some questions about Thorfinn's background.
あの客人たちのいたずらには、旦那様も少々手を焼いていてな。いたずらで殺されかけじゃ叶いませんよ。何、本当に殺されたりはせんよ。
No, they just wanted the son to do it. They wanted the master's son, so then they would be guiltless.
俺たちの命なんか、
you know?
虫けらほどにも思ってないんだ。
They wouldn't have done it directly.
仕方ない。
They would have blamed it on the master's son, and then the master's son can't really do anything. My god, he's repeating Askeladd's words.
なんだと。お前。まあな、いいなる。
But Aina's not gonna like that philosophy, because then that just means that his parents and his sister deserve to die because they were weak. So I can understand why Aina's taken offense to it, because he's basically saying, you know, the strong devour the weak, the strong overpower, and that's why we would have deserved to die, is because we're weak. We couldn't have stood up against them because they have more power than us, they have more authority than us, they were stronger than us, so therefore we deserve it. Whereas Aina's very much like, no, I don't believe that that's true, because if you're saying that then that means my family deserved to die then because they were weak, they weren't strong, which I think I understand what Thorfinn's trying to say. It's very much this idea that there's a cycle to it, that the power and authority that people gain will always be leveraged against those they believe are lesser than them. Not necessarily that they are stronger than them, but that power means a lot in this world, and because they have an aspect of power and they are slaves, they're going to use and weaponize that. It doesn't mean that they're weak because they are weak. It doesn't mean that we view them as weak. It's that those in positions of power view them as weak. That's the point. So therefore they leverage their position of power and authority to abuse and mistreat them. It's not Thorfinn agreeing that this is right or that it's okay, but he's just emphasizing that this is a cycle, this is the way of the world, unfortunately, and that they are just victims to it, that the strong will always believe that their power gives them authority over those they view as lesser.
パテルさん、俺たち、
They don't have
薬代
money.
など気にせんでいい。お前たちの面倒は私に一任されている。
See, they seem like really good guys. Like, they genuinely seem to care. I hope Aina and Thorfinn don't come
お礼
to
を言っておき
blows
なさ
because
い。
of Thorfinn's
私に
background.
知らせようと畑の中をずいぶん走り回ったよう
Oh,
だ。
she wanted to make sure they were okay. My savior. Because in a previous life they would have been enemies, but in this life they are on the same level, you know?
お前の服は穴だらけにされてしまったからな。
It's a nice shirt as well. I have to keep pausing because I think Thorfinn's seeing the kindness that exists in this world, how people are still willing to help those in need. After coming to the realization that his body instinctively reacted to live, reasserts that life is worth fighting for, life is worth living, that you can find beauty in the small acts, in the small mercies that are granted to you, that the smallest act of kindness is an act of beauty in itself, that small acts of kindness can make all the difference. They can change your perspective. They can help guide you into realizing just how beautiful life can be, that we're all in this together, that we're all bound by the fact that we are human and united together. But I think as well, what's going to be really interesting is that in a previous life, before they were slaves, they were enemies, but they are now on equal playing fields. But it's whether Einar can let go of that anger. So he may end up being sort of like Thorfinn in that he finds himself faced with a difficult position where he learns of Thorfinn's background and finds it difficult to want to be friends with him because he's a victim of the Danes. He's a victim of Viking raids and invasion. And even though he's connected because he's from settlers, people that integrated into the community, he still was made a slave by these people nonetheless. So I think it's going to be a test of his character as to whether he can let go of the anger and resentment, because Thorfinn isn't that person anymore, and he's seen who Thorfinn is through his interactions with him, through his willingness to sacrifice himself for Einar's life, to spare Einar's life. So the fact that he was willing to do that for him and not see him as the enemy might reassert to Einar that they can move forward, that they can be friends, that they can forget the past and move on. But it's going to be interesting to see his reaction to it. I don't think he's going to take it well. I think there's going to be maybe some blows thrown, and then maybe they come to the realization that they are no different from each other. They're both in this position. Neither of them have managed to escape it, regardless of what side they fell on, you know? So there's no point fighting over something that neither of them could help. They were both victims of circumstance, victims of their situation. So here's hoping that Aina is able to let it go, but I think we might see him sort of wrestling with similar feelings to Thorfinn in series 1, this desire for revenge and anger, but Thorfinn isn't who he needs to take his anger out on. Thorfinn isn't the reason for his mother and sister and father dying. He's also a victim of society.
お前な、パテルさんになんか一言ないのかよ。
His facial expressions in this episode remind me very much of him as a child in series 1. They're almost innocent and childlike, like he's learning and reverting back to that childhood innocence. What a grumpy little hedgehog. The mother and her baby with like a grumpy face, almost like Thorfinn's little grumpy face when he was a child. I feel like this episode is going to be one of my favorites so far. He wants to clear the forest so he can buy his freedom. He's motivated. And that's the thing as well. Like, he wouldn't be doing all that if he truly just wanted to give up and die. He was motivated to earn his freedom. And that comes from a drive to live. Of course, he doesn't really have a choice as a slave, but still, he could half-ass it, but he doesn't.
蛇とやり合った時のあの身のこなし、ただもんじゃなかった。
強いやつが弱いやつを殺す。当たり前のことだ。
It's the philosophy he's had to live by, though, in order to survive. Just how he was raised and socialized after his father's death.
戦争に行ったことあるか？
ああ。
人を殺したのか？
Yes.
ああ。
何人くらいだ？ 5。
Too many. Far too many to count.
そんなこと知ってどうする？お前、戦争が嫌いなんだろ。
But you can't judge him on his past, only his actions going forward. That's the thing.
何人かなんて覚えちゃいない。
That's the lesson that we need to learn, is that it's his actions going forward, not what he did in the past, that defines him as a man.
5つか6つくらいの頃から戦場にいた。俺は戦士だった。
Now he wants to be a better man. He wants to be different.
軽蔑するか、エイナル。
Because it's like judging Fours. Fours killed numerous people, led many wars and invasions, but he changed. He wanted to be better. He wanted to be a different type of warrior to promote peace. It was his actions going forward that defined him rather than what he did in the past. And I think Aina needs to realize that we all do things that we regret, that we have to do in order to survive, but we can't judge and blame people for that if they make an active effort to be different.
俺は戦士だった。軽蔑するか、エイナル。
Oh, he's picturing the invasions in his head. The trauma of it. But Thorfinn also had the same trauma. Saw the same violence, saw the same bloodshed. Is haunted by it too. You're not alone in that. He shares in that fear and that anger and trauma. Nobody has any enemies, only the enemies they create in their own heads. And Aina's creating Thorfinn into an enemy. Into somebody to hate. Whereas Thorfinn has shown him nothing but respect. You are two sides of the same coin. You would have done the exact same thing that Thorfinn would have done if you were in his situation. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. I think he's going to realize that would make him no better than the people he hates. Thorfinn's not even fighting back against him. He was just a kid, man. I can understand Aina's thought process, but it wouldn't make him any better. This isn't his first battle, but it kind of looks like the guy that he fought at the village where he was taken in, looked after by that older woman, and then hailed Askeladd to invade. But he is haunted by the fires that were set, by the violence, by the bloodshed, by all the people that he's killed. He can't escape from them. They torment him in his dreams. Because the dead never leave you. Aina, let go of him. You can see that he is just as traumatized as you are. God, the animation is so good. Yeah. All the lives that suffered because of him. He's thinking back to that woman. I thought it looked familiar. He knows that Thorfinn's not the enemy. Someone who was truly evil wouldn't feel guilt or suffer the way that he does. It shows that he has a conscience, that he cares about everything he's gone through and done and seen, and the pain he's caused. It impacts him so deeply that he can't forget about it. He can't forgive himself. But he has to learn to live with the trauma and to move on. He needs to find a way to move on, to move forward. Oh, the music.
殺した。大勢殺した。戦から戦へ。村を襲い。たくさ
He
ん
never
殺した。
wanted to. He never took pleasure in it or
お
enjoyment
前
in
の家
it.
族を殺したや
He
つら。
always critiqued it.
そいつらと
But what choice did he truly have?
俺は同じだ。
He's had to fight since the age of 6, you know?
生きてると何かいいことありますか？俺はなかったよ。
I think Aina
今日まで
knows
生きてき
that
て
he regrets what he's done.
いいこと
That he doesn't find pleasure in it. He
一つ
doesn't
もなかったよ。
find valor or enjoyment. He regrets it. All of it.
お前がどんなひどい目にあったかなんて知らねえ。どんな地獄で生きてきたかなんて知りたくもねえ。けどこんな地獄でのんきにくっちゃべってられんのも、飯食ったりクソして寝たりしていられんのも誰かが
Oh,
俺らを生かしてくれたからだろうが。
his mom. And for him, it was Thors and Askeladd. Their sacrifices can't go to waste.
違うだろう。
So long as you're alive, there's an opportunity, a chance for things to be different. You can't give up.
甘えんだ。
His mom risked her life for him. Askeladd and Thors risked their life for Thorfinn. It would spit in the face of their sacrifice if he was to give up now. Just like Aina feels like it would spit in the face of his mother if he gave up on living. Because living is what they wanted for them both.
お前が俺の家族を殺したわけじゃねえだろうが。
I know, I'm so glad. He knows that he can't blame Thorfinn for what happened in the past. That Thorfinn wasn't the one responsible for it. Therefore, it's not fair to place the blame on him.
起こしてくれて
Oh, my
ありがとう。
babies. I'm gonna cry. I'm trying not to cry.
たくお前の寝言のおか
Two
げで
boys.
すっかり寝不足だぜ。
Oh, my babies. I love that they're both in the light this time. Like, Thorfinn's not in the dark, emphasizing that he's finding his way forward. They have him enshrined in light. Aina's also enshrined in light because they're pushing forwards, they're moving forwards together. Is this Canute or Canute's brother? It looks regal. Are we finally gonna get our first glimpse of Canute? It's Canute. Oh my god, he's so grown. Oh, he's still beautiful though, but we get our first glimpse of Canute before the next episode, which indicates to me that we're going to learn more about Canute since the end of series 1. That next episode could be Canute's perspective of everything, but I just was trying not to cry because it just means so much that they're able to come to the understanding that they aren't enemies. They don't deserve to continue this cycle of hatred. Aina understands that Thorfinn may have gone through and done some horrible things, but he doesn't deserve to be punished anymore for it any further than what he's punishing himself for. That it's not his right to punish him when Thorfinn isn't the reason why his family died. They are both victims of trauma. They are both victims in this cycle of war and conflict, in his ability to recognize them both as equals means so much that they're able to move forward together. And again, the juxtaposition of the lighting, we see Thorfinn in the dark a lot and Einar in the light, whereas they're both in the light this time, indicating that going forward, Thorfinn is going to be more resolute in finding a sense of purpose, a sense of direction, that he understands that he doesn't actually want to die. Snake has made him realize that there is more to life than giving up, that it would be an injustice to everything he's gone through, to everything he's suffered through, if he just gives up now and doesn't attempt to fight to create a better life for himself, to find a sense of purpose and direction. And as Aina's saying, it would be an injustice to those that got them to where they are now. Yes, they are slaves and they're not in an ideal situation, but so many people sacrificed to ensure that they lived, and to just throw away that gift is to spit in the faces of all those that cared about them and loved them. If not for Askeladd, if not for Thorfinn wouldn't be alive today. If not for his father and his mother, Einar wouldn't be alive today. So going on and living your life and trying to be a better person is the greatest gift that you can give back to those that sacrifice to put you where you are today. You can't discredit what they have done. You need to honor it. You need to keep living and finding a sense of purpose and direction. This series is gonna have me emotional. I loved this already. I really enjoyed series 1, don't get me wrong, but I'm loving series 2 like a hell of a lot more. I feel like there's so much depth to it, so much meaning, especially this pushing through trauma. I love series 1 because we get to see what traumatizes Thorfinn, how he becomes the person that he is. And I feel like it's such a fundamental first series in order to understand series 2. If you just started at series 2, you'd be like, what the fuck? I don't understand what's going on. But because we've been on that journey with him, we've seen the trauma, we've seen what he's experienced, we can empathize and understand his situation in series 2. We can see how much he's struggling and how much strength he has to continue waking up every day and fighting to be a better person, that he isn't soulless like so many others are, because he embodies the memories of what he's experienced. He's haunted by the deaths of so many people that he has taken. He cannot escape them, which is why Fours was really big on driving home this idea that it's not easy to take a human life. You can never really run from it. That will haunt you for the rest of your days. And we're seeing that with Thorfinn. Thorfinn can't forget it, can't run from it. He's quite literally haunted in his dreams by the faces of those that he has killed. He knows that he can't ever really forget it, but in remembering them, in choosing to live and be a better person, he not necessarily honors their death because they didn't deserve to die, but he also didn't really have much of a choice. It was do or die, survival for him. But in a way, in remembering them, he shows respect to them. He doesn't discredit them. He doesn't throw their lives away as if they were worth nothing. He is aware that he got here today because of how many lives he had to take in the process. But in remembering them, he could at least pay them the respect that they deserve. I think that's all I want to say for now. This was an amazing episode nonetheless, and I'm really enjoying series 2. I can't wait to see more of this. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye!